Welcome, everyone. Good morning. My name is Lauren Anzaldo. My pronouns are she and her, and I will be your service leader today. I want to say hello to everyone who's with us in the room, as well as everyone watching from home. We're so glad you're here, whether today is your first time or your 100th time being with us at UUCP. We're glad that you are here. I'm going to do our chalice lighting words, and I think Laura's going to help with lighting the chalice. I'm going to ring the bell. Our opening words are adapted from the poem This Faith by Heidi Katam. Let us be a faith that gathers, reaching for one another through the walls of hate others build. Let us be a faith that sees a vision of a better world, more compassionate, more just, more holy, and with more love. Let us be the ones who do not tread lightly in the world, but light it up with our love, who hold up the mirror of worth and dignity, who are the sanctuary others seek. But first, let us be a faith that worships together here this morning, in this space, at this moment. Let us be a faith. Our opening hymn for this morning is Answering the Call of Love, which is in the Teal hymnal number 1014. But you should know that we are using the words answering the call of love rather than standing on the side of love for purpose of being inclusive, especially to those who are not able to stand. So we're using those words, answering the call of love, 1014. Please stand if you are willing and able.
Every soul is blessed.
remain standing for the recitation of our covenant. It's up here. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. At this time, we'll have a time for all ages. It's going to be a short video from a PBS TV show that some of you may recognize called Arthur. It's a cartoon. And this is a video that Honor and I selected together to share with everyone for Time for All Ages.
A message from Arthur.
I gotta help Buster. Hey Arthur. Hey Buster. Did you see that video? Yeah, I just watched it. It was awful. I can't believe someone would be hurt like that. Just because they're black. Racism is so unfair. No one should ever judge someone by the color of their skin.
Alright, kids, we got a message for you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Go down in peace, go down in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, you may go. That was a lovely surprise. Thank you. And this is the time in our service where we will gratefully receive your contributions. Our church is supported directly by our members and friends. And if you are able to, place your contribution in the basket as it comes around. And I believe the choir has some music for us as well. May the pool of love we have gathered here spread its wings and fly far and near, from the depths of our hearts to the farthest star. May our love bless everyone. May our love bless everyone. May the pool of love we have gathered here spread its wings and fly far and near, from the depths of our heart to the farthest star. May our love bless everyone. May our love bless everyone. Thank you so much. And we will be hearing that song again. It's so beautiful. We'll hear that for our closing hymn in a little bit. Our meditation hymn this morning is Draw the Circle Wide. We've sang this before a few times, so it may be familiar. And the lyrics will be up on the next couple of slides after this. So you can stay seated while we sing Draw the Circle Wide.
Circle,
It is my privilege this morning to announce a colleague and friend of mine, and to many of us here. If you have not heard her speak before, you will be interested to hear what she has to say. Our speaker is Dr. Lusharon Wiley. Lusharon is actively engaged in the Pensacola community where she has lived for the past 34 years, twice named one of the most influential people in Pensacola by In Weekly magazine in April 2023 and 2024. She understands the importance of making a difference in the community in which she lives. As executive director and founding member of the Equity Project Alliance, Dr. Wiley is a thought leader in community engagement that leads to transformational change. She is known as a distinguished presenter and as a sought-after speaker. And at this time, I invite Dr. Wiley to come up and speak to us about the Equity Project Alliance.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I want you, can you hear me? Yes. All right, I thought you could, and if you couldn't, I could speak louder. I grew up in a huge family, so you spoke loudly in order to be heard, right? If you're wondering about this mask, no, I don't have anything that you can catch. I'm getting some work done, dental work done, so I'm using this until I get to the other side. And so those of you who know me know I like bling, so I decided to bling out. So everything thank you. This has been, so far this has been just truly amazing. The singing has been wonderful, the words are beautiful, everything. It's just been an inspiration because there's really so much going on in the world. And the piece by Arthur was really good. One of the things that you all want to know is that I'm from South Georgia. So sometimes if you don't understand what I'm saying, just ask a friend, okay? You'll be okay. So I thought I would start with this poem that I wrote for a presentation I did last year, and I thought it was quite good, so I thought I would share it with you. It's called I Am From. I am from fried okra, fried mullet and peaches, black-eyed peas and pickles from a big jar sold in Mr. James' store for 5 cents. My roots intersecting South Georgia and North Florida, tobacco and cotton fields. I'm from azaleas and camellias and fig trees, scuppernongs and muscardines. I'm from pomegranate and figs, mayhew berries and homemade tea cakes. I'm from dress up on Sundays with shiny patent leather shoes. I am from royal crown hair grease and the straightening comb. I am from dirt roads with rocks that hurt your feet. I am from tall pines and tall tales. I am from soft southern voices that sound as sweet as dripping honey and sometimes as hard as steel. I am from bathing in wash tubs and hanging clothes out to dry. I'm from reciting poetry and old folks who said, go sit down and stop getting in grown folks' business. I am from 3 sisters sharing a bed. I am from a 1-bathroom house. I am from Southern roots. I am from gospel music and country music and marching bands and walking to school. I am from listening more than I talk. I am from CBS News with Walter Cronkite, Bonanza, and Gunsmoke, and the Ed Sullivan Show. I am from repression to progression. I am from a place of hope and discernment. I am from the present and the future. I am moving forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, having given you all of that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Equity Project Alliance. So Julian McQueen, some of you all know Julian McQueen and Kim McQueen. So after the murder of George Floyd, it really deeply impacted so many of us in America, and I think indeed across the world. So Julian decided that he would write to the Pensacola News Journal an opinion piece. And in that opinion piece, he asked white men who own businesses, to join him to do something in our community. And people did respond. Now, you heard Laura read that I'm a founding member. Obviously, I'm not a white man, nor do I own a business, right? But my working for industry, and the work that I've done at UWF and then just privately, made me be a part of that. So there were about 15 of us who came together and sort of talked about what can we do in our community. And it was really an amazing opportunity to have folks come from very different backgrounds to just say, yes, we will. We can do something that's different. We can make a difference. So for about 1.5 to 2 years, we argued together, we talked together, we got to know each other, and slowly things began to come together. Even trying to come up with a name was really an interesting process, but we finally got there. And so even though you've heard the mission, I will read that mission, and I'd like you to sort of soak this in. The mission of the Equity Project Alliance is to be a progressive catalyst that confronts systemic racism and promotes transformative thinking, unity, and equity for everyone. You see, we do a lot of listening. As Americans, we do a lot of listening and talking, but I don't know how much action we take. And sometimes when we see things that are really things that hurt us, that prick our spirits, we still are not motivated to take action. So what we need is action in the community. So one of the things that happened after this 1.5 or more of coming together to talk and come up with our mission and vision was this whole idea of how do we now share all of this goodness that we've found with the community? So we were inspired to do some dinners and invite people to come with us. And the very first thing we did, our first coming together was at the Student Community Institute, downtown Pensacola. And we had a data walk. And yes, I say data, because that is a correct pronunciation, quite frankly. But anyway, so we did a data walk. And this data was put together by Achieve Escambia, the Haas Center at the University of West Florida, the Healthy Start Coalition, the Pensacola Young Professionals, also who had an opinion piece. So we put all of this together to look at what are the disparities in the community? Where are the places that maybe we can jump in and at least raise awareness? We looked at disparities in income, in education, graduation rates, healthcare, and it's quite stark. There are a lot of differences that really need to be addressed. So people came out and we ate dinner together and we talked about what were some of the things perhaps that we could do to partner with other folks who are already doing good and amazing stuff in the community. So since that time, we have done data walks every year. And they have been, we always have to cut off the number of people who can come because we just have limited space and limited amount of money to serve. So we do ask people to sponsor those events But it's been really, really amazing to see how many people really want to make a difference in this community. So one of the things that we know is people find it brave that we talk about the elephant in the room. And just this week, and you all probably saw it as well, the torture of 2 black men in Mississippi at the hands of police officers, one of whom was shot through his mouth and the bullet came out his neck. This, indeed, people, this is not okay. I don't believe anybody in this room would say, Lusharon, that's okay. So, I don't know how we stop the hate, but it's something that we all need to be aware of, right? Our vision is to have our collective focus is to live in a community of authentic relationships that reflect equity and a deep appreciation of inclusion. So what does inclusion look like? What does it look like for you? Is it enough for us to just be sitting here from diverse backgrounds? Is that inclusion? I think it's certainly a beautiful beginning. And it was so cute the way the children were ushered out. I think I'm using the wrong words, but you know what I'm saying. I really enjoyed that, right? Because young people need to be a part of the formula. Old people need to be a part of the formula. We all do. Because we're all in this together. It was Dr. King who said we came over on different boats, but we're all in the same ship today. We really are. Because here's the thing, we're one humanity. There are no others. We are it, folks. So when people say, the others, who are they? I haven't met them. All I've seen is us. But if you've met some others, I'd like to hear about them. That would be new learning for me. So what are some things we've done in addition to the data walk? We brought in national leaders to help shine the light on the past as well as the present. So we had Bob Zellner, and I, with intentionality, am distinguishing white and black at some points, right? So Bob Zellner was a white civil rights leader who marched with Dr. King, John Lewis, etc. Because see, when you're on the side of right, it really isn't about your color. There is a movie out there that's about him. I found it really good. It's called Son of the South, and you can find it on Amazon and whatever. But beautiful movie. But he came in and talked about his experiences, and they were just like all the others who were fighting for what was right and sometimes being beaten because of it. We brought in Elizabeth Eckford from the Little Rock Nine. I don't think I have to tell you who the Little Rock Nine were, but they helped to integrate the schools in Arkansas and to hear her story up close and personal. Some of the things that you really are not going to see in the books that you read. Man, I thought, where did all that bravery come from? I don't think I could have done it, but she was an amazing woman. And I'm happy to say that I have a signed book by her, not bragging, just saying, okay? We brought in stage production by our company out of New York, and the stage production was Henry Box Brown. And some of you already know from history who Henry Brown is. He was a slave who mailed himself to freedom. And so that's why you have the box in quotes. He put himself in a box, mailed himself to freedom. It was powerful. We had about 1,500 people who saw that play over a 3-day period. We brought in the Bail Project. We brought in the Tuskegee University Choir. We've continued to have dinners of change throughout the community. We've been operational now about 4 years. And one of the things that's like way cool we're getting a little bit more personal. This year in July, Julian McQueen and I were on stage at Jean and Paul Amos Performance Studio, and we did a conversation in black and white, just a tad different, with John Peacock, a northerner, to moderate. And it was so good. It was a rich discussion because it looks at what were the differences as we were growing up, and the questions that were posed to us about our lived experiences today, vastly different. And it has generated so much feedback that people are begging for more. And we had to cut off the sign up at 215 because we simply couldn't accommodate anybody else with the meal. Because remember, if you have conversation over meals, it's a good thing, right? But always there is discussion after everything that we bring. We want to talk about it because the more that we talk, the more that we can learn. So, what are some of the goals of the Equity Project Alliance? Number one is the community engagement, which you've already heard me speak of. We want to do training for corporations, local businesses, to bring them to the place of understanding what inclusion looks like. Because here's the thing, if you invite me to the table, Bill, wherever you are, if you invite me to the table and I bring my dish, and maybe my dish is candied yam and possum. Okay, so we're gonna eat your food. You're gonna look at mine, but you're not gonna taste it. Is that inclusion? I'm at the table, but if you're not listening to or enjoying what I'm bringing, has inclusion occurred? Indeed, it has not. Okay. So we want to create an environment where people feel as if they belong. What I'm doing right now, I do a lot of speaking engagements and did well before I became executive director of the EPA. It's sort of what I do. It's my calling. We want to do education. We want to continue to make people aware of things that have happened, because the more that we know, the better we can be. We can't expect to get better if we don't know to do anything that's better and different. And yes, we are tackling tough conversations. We're trying to connect the community through partnerships, and I've had the great pleasure of just working with a lot of folks. So when you hear me saying all of this I stuff, the truth is there's so many of you who have just joined with me to help make what we're doing possible. I feel like I can pick on Bill and Paula and Dolly and Nancy, wherever you are, and Lauren and Scott, and so many others of you who have been there that perhaps maybe I haven't met. But I hope you'll come out and join us, because we ultimately would like Pensacola to be the North Star. We can do that. We are already America's first settlement. We can step it up to the next level. Yes, we can do that. We want to coach, provide coaching. We're doing fundraising, obviously, to bring the things that we bring. And we do storytelling and sharing. So, on the 17th of October, we're having a story slam. It's gonna be amazing. So the slots, there are only 120 slots. We're doing it at Voices of Pensacola Multicultural Center. And if I'm saying that wrong, you all correct me. All right, so people are gonna share their stories of magic. We're going to have 10 speakers to share their moments of magic. And those moments are about when I have made an assumption about somebody, called implicit bias, right? And, well, you know, I just knew I'm not going to like him because already, look, he doesn't even look like a Southerner, and I have no idea what a Southerner looks like, but I'm just going to say that, right? I have no idea. How do we say he looks like a Southerner? I don't know. All right. So anyway, I've already made up my mind. There's no way that I'm going to like him. And then guess what? I find out that, oh my gosh, he knows what strickling is. Yes, I have South Georgia language. Look for it in I'm trying to put a book together that includes a chapter on South Georgia language, non-coastal region. Because when people tell me they're from Atlanta, that's not the real Georgia. You're looking at the real Georgia right now, okay? So anyway, it's when we can break down those barriers and look beyond what we perceived to get to know what is. And that is tremendous learning. So these are going to be moments of magic. Mamie Hicks, and some of you know her, is a professor, and I'm seeing Paula nodding her head. Well, her mother worked for this family called the Orensteins. Could be Orenstein. Anyway, so she and the son of the family for whom she worked, they're going to be sharing their story because they're friends today. Magical moments. If you get a chance, we hope you'll come out. But anyway, there are only like 4 slots left. So in addition to what we've said, to summarize, collaboration, tackling tough and having tough conversations, bringing people and organizations to the community where we can all learn together, coming out and doing speaking engagements, sharing our stories, helping to educate the businesses and organizations locally. And one thing that I want to see that I'll be pushing for 2025 is micro loans for small businesses. Sometimes all they need is just a little bit of money to get them to the next step. You all already know big businesses are not interested in making those small loans. And actually, I want them not to be loans. So there's a way that we need to change that, because I'd like it to be just gifts that help. Something creative, a creative way to make that sound good, right? But doing that kind of work is good stuff. So from all of this, we want to spin off little mini EPA groups. And we already have one that's coming up that I'm so excited about. We have partnered with the Center for Sacred Space, and we're going to be reading this book called The Crucible of Racism, and it's about a Jesuit priest who is of Haitian descent and his experiences when he joined the Jesuit order as the only Black person. So we're only going to take 10 to 12 people. We're going to dive deeply and have some very meaningful discussions. If that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know. So having said all of that, and I know your brains are abuzz with questions, I'll be here afterwards for a while, but I will leave you with this. Isn't it funny how princes and kings and clowns that dance in sawdust rings and common people like you and me are builders of eternity? What eternity are you building? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wiley, for sharing with us and giving us so much to think about. At this time, we'll be doing our closing hymn, and if you will stand and then remain standing for the closing words as well. And I believe the choir's coming up, and we're singing the beautiful song, Pool of Love again, and the words will be on the screen.
May the pool of love
we extinguish our chalice, we'll hear these closing words by Heather Christensen. Each week as we gather, we light a common chalice. We sing and celebrate, we pray and think. Then we each gather strength from the flame and go out from here, taking the light with us.